Recognize the member from Saskatchewan Rivers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've continued to ask the government why can't they cut their provincial carbon tax on fuel. Their latest excuse has been they can't afford to cut it.
That's right.
Where are they going to find the money to fix roads? Mr. Speaker, they can't find the money to fix the roads because they're spending it all on the Premier's Net Zero by 2050 agenda. This government has already spent $1.5 billion and counting on the Premier's Net Zero agenda. And yet they tell me they can't afford to fix roads or reduce the fuel tax. They can't afford to give residents the cost of living relief at the pumps.
Right.
But they can afford billions and billions to achieve their net zero agenda. Mr. Speaker, can the government explain to residents why are they more committed to spending billions on their net zero by 2050 agenda than giving cost of living relief and axing their tax on fuel?
Recognize the member from Saskatchewan Rivers.
Mr. Speaker, this government's agenda is obvious. They have repeatedly promised to make Saskatchewan net zero by 2050, in lockstep with Justin Trudeau's long-stated goal of net zero emissions by 2050. If it wasn't proof enough, Mr. Speaker, right now the Premier is in Dubai for a UN climate change convention. Where is his government? And they have spent $1 million of taxpayers' money to further their agenda. Mr. Speaker, why won't this government do the right thing, what is best for the Saskatchewan people, and denounce their net zero agenda?
Recognize the member from Saskatchewan Rivers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Canada's top-ranked think tank, the Fraser Institute, has not minced words about the danger the net zero agenda poses to Canada and our province. They call net zero the pathway to Canadian decline. The Institute outlines that net zero by 2050 means drastically cutting our energy use and production, significantly driving up the cost of living and driving down our standard of living. They conclude by stating, Canadians must understand that net zero policies mean decay and decline, not deliverance. Mr. Speaker, this government has sold out our Saskatchewan way of life to a foreign agenda. Leading experts are telling us it'll be catastrophic to our economy and our way of life. Mr. Speaker, I ask the government, why have they sold out the Saskatchewan people for their net zero agenda?